self-taught gamer, back on Mimas. So I worked a couple days now. I've made a new room, done a lot of work in here. Like I said I was going to do, I added this room. This is going to be my production room. So let me go over a little bit what I did here. I have two vending machines. This is my ore vending machine. I put all my ores in here, and eventually I'm going to have it automatically put the ores in there. Still a work in progress in here, so bear with me. This is my storage vending machine. This is where things that I print out will go and store. What I do here now is I have all this chuted up. I have the ore vending machine going to every machine's input, and the output all going over to these sorters. Now when I kick out ores, this sorter will put the ores into the ore sorter, or ore stacker. This should read ore stacker, but it sorts it. And anything else that comes through goes to the storage stacker, which puts it then into the storing machine. The stuff from the ore stacker goes into the ore machine. So if I went through here and emptied all the ores, they would automatically come over here. Or is this the ore stacker? No. Yeah, two ingots of iron. So put them in there. So then if I do this, that should all come over here also. Now eventually I may have to put a stacker in front of this, but that's not really going to help too much. So let's empty all these out. Put all the ores over there. Alright, so all of them are empty. Now let's come over here to the electric printer and say I want to make coils. And you hit the coil button. Oh, I don't have any copper. So all I have to do, and that's I'm going to automate this at some point, but I wanted to set it up manually first, and after you set it up manually it's a lot easier to automate. So I have all the ores in here, and it displays the one you want. So you just keep clicking to, there's copper. So that wasn't too hard. Now I wanted to send it to the electric printer, which is number 1 here. So I set number 1. That controls these automatic valves and sets them correctly to get it to go, which basically is going to leave this one open, close this one, so it sends it over to the printer. Now hopefully this works. Then when I have this all set up, all I gotta do is hit the activate button, and it should send it to the wrong place. No, where did it go? It did. Okay, so there's an error. You get to see my code this way. Gotta do some debugging yet. Alright, so that would, I'm going to turn that off. That would be over here. So what did I set wrong? It should be... is this the right one? Maybe it's the other one. Let's see. Import. That's the right one. This is a long one. As you can see. So basically, there's my ore settings. So that worked. It was the chute setting that did not set correctly. So setting 1 would be the electric printer. So chute 1, that's what it is. Chute 1 should be 0. Chute 2 should be 1. Closed. And this is going to be backwards too. 1. To 0. I think. 1 is bypassed. 1 lets it go straight through. So to go to the auto lathe that goes straight through, No, this should be 0. I can leave them both 0 because it's going to get reset. Let's try that. I think that's it. Export that. Just a little bit of debugging. So let's try that again. Let's try and send copper to the electric printer this time. So I still got it set up. That is set for 2, or 1, excuse me. 1 electric. Ask for it. There we go. So I just had to shoot numbers messed up. So that's kind of handy. Like I said, I want to automate this eventually, but when you try and automate this, then you're getting into well, let's call it the electric printer, and I'll show you what we're getting into, the electric printer. You start getting into these, and I don't have those figured out yet. That's above my level. That's all binary. See, I could say automatically, I could say missing receipt regent, and then I could send that request to the OR vending machine. But I don't understand exactly how to do this yet. I've watched a couple videos on it. It's pretty confusing. I want to do this eventually, but I'm not there yet. So right now I'm at the manual point. But that's what I've been doing in here. I guess I should go over my code real quick. And this is, like I said, this is a long code. There is probably, and almost certainly, a better way to do this. But this worked for me, and I like to make things as clear as possible. So I'm looking at the OR dial, the printer dial, which is the dial that I select, either the auto lathe, electronic printer, or the pipe bender. I'm looking at the OR memory, and shoot 1 and shoot 2. So the first thing I do is I read the OR dial, and based on what the OR dial is set to, I jump. So if it's set to iron, if the OR dial equals 0, then go to OR iron, and OR iron is the hashtag for iron ore. And so there's 17 ores. So I did that for all 17. Now notice it's 16, but 0 is the first one. Got to remember that. So it'll screw up if you don't start with 0. It'll have a blank. I guess it doesn't matter, but it's just an aesthetic thing. But it starts with 0, so 0 through 16. So that set up all the hashtags for every ore, and then when it goes back to start, so I better go back up there. Now, this is the first time I've ever used JAL, which is a, let me look at that for you here. I've been trying to find it forever. Yeah, JAL. It's always something when I'm recording. This jumps to a line and stores the location it jumped from. So I'm telling it to jump to print select, and then come back to this location when it's done. So it jumps to print select, which is down here, and that's where I set where is the dial for the which device I want, and it goes to appropriate. If it's 0, I just did 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2 because that's just easier. And then it returns by typing, by using jump RA, which says, okay, you just did a jump AL, go back to that point. And then it starts all over again. So that program is basically loading the 2 dials into the necessary buttons and memories. I wanted to use a dial for this, and I thought maybe I could use another hash display and have this display which printer I was doing. In other words, I had it all set up and it wouldn't work. if I had the auto lathe, I thought if I put the hash display and the hash number of the auto lathe in here, it would display the auto lathe. It does not. It has a blank screen. I don't understand exactly why, but I tried all three of the actual printers and it displayed nothing. So the hash display for the auto lathe hash would not come up. So I ended up going with a dial saying, yeah, set it to 0, 1, or 2. Yeah, okay. So that's that button, or that code. This one's shorter and kind of easier. Let me import that. Edit. So this is a really short program for what it does. I'm kind of surprised, actually. So again, I'm looking at the OR memory, which contains the hash of the OR I am currently looking at. And then the OR vending machine and the request button. So this basically just says if the request button is activated, then go it just loads button. I'm sorry. That loads the activate number, if it's activated or not. And then if it's equal to 0, it's just going to jump back to start. And as long as there's no button push, it's just going to do this. But when you push the button, then I have load R10, the hashtag of the OR memory. And then I just say save OR vending machine, that hashtag R10, which is basically R10, remember, is the hash stored in the OR memory. And then it jumps to start. Very simple, kind of a powerful program, a little program though, because, you know, once I hit that button, it sends whatever I'm looking at to the device I have selected. And it's kind of neat. Like I said, I want to automate this. I also want to do what I was talking about. Now, next I'm going to say somehow, and if I pull up the configuration manager here, which I know I have loaded, activate ratio quantity request hash. This is what I could probably do. Request hash, and somehow if it doesn't give me an answer, like if I request 30 cables or 50 cables or just cables, if I request cables and there's no cables in there, then I want to try and program the electric printer to say, hey, there's no cables in here, print 50 cables. So I'm getting there. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Interesting possibilities. Now again, I may do this manually first, which would mean using this dial. I have to write another program to say, I'm going to have to set this to maybe 10 different settings, like I want 1 of something or 5 of something. So the 0 would be 1, and there's only 1 setting in there. So if I set this max to 10, which would be just clicking on increase, I could have setting 1 or 0 be 1 of something. Say if I wanted cables, if I wanted 1 cable, I'd leave it as 0, which again defeats the purpose. It's kind of confusing. Maybe I'll just try this one and ignore 0. But it doesn't matter, because I could set this to 50, I guess. I could set this to 50, but that's going to be a lot of cranking. So if I wanted 50 cables, is there a way to increase that by 10? No, that won't do it. So if I wanted 50 cables, I have to either write it or click it 50 times, which is kind of a pain, but I may have to figure out exactly how to do that. That would require another dial, or saying a step number. Or I could put a sign here or something saying, you know, if you set it to 0, you're going to get 1 of something. If you set it to 2, you're going to get 5 of something. I just noticed it's going to holler at me in a minute. I still am eating bread. I have not been outside in a while, to be honest with you, so I hope. I know those things hold 300 and something liters of water, but I haven't checked it in a long time. And bread works. It takes you to 170. I won't do that during the video. I don't need to check the water during the video. I need to check it, but not right now. So basically, I'm going to make another code here shortly saying read the dial, and if I hit the activate on it, go ahead and count down, start at 50, count down to 49, and once it reaches 0, stop printing. And then I'm going to have to figure out also how to activate when there's nothing being printed. Make sure this is closed, because if I print 1 of something, it's going to sit in here, because if it stacks, say I print 1 shoot, it's going to load in here, but it's not going to feed it. So I'm going to have to say, after you're done, clear the stacker, and make sure this gets sent over. So I got the front end worked. I got the basics of the front end worked, and that's where I'm at right now. It's a couple days of programming. I was going to leave this room 1 layer because it takes a lot of air. I made it 2 because I originally had the chutes going underneath here, and I couldn't get under, so I had to raise it so I could put it up through there. That's the only reason I raised it. Actually closed the room off, said this isn't going to work, went out and put another floor on the outside, then opened it all up, prayed that I had it all covered. So basically, power's working good in here. I may have to add another row eventually. It does keep it fully charged, but I'm getting the feeling with the stuff I added in there, it's working pretty hard to keep it fully charged. That's where I feed the ores in. Where did I put that other one? There it is. I may eventually put a stacker here to make sure I have stacks of 100 or something if I start running out of room in here. But I think that covers everything. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, kind of elementary coding. I've gotten into some more difficult areas. If anybody understands this stuff, feel free to send me a video of it. I've only found 1 or 2 videos, and it's pretty confusing. But I would need this, I think, to automate things. See what I could do if I wanted to print cables and I didn't have copper. I could say, oop, I need to request a missing region, and automatically do that instead of doing it manually. I kind of like this setup right now for the manual mode. I mean, it's pretty cool. Come over here and oh, I want to sign, but I don't have any iron. They've set that to 0. Changes the vowels. Set this to 0 because that just happens to be iron, I remember. And then you hit the activate button, and hopefully it comes in here. Did I not hit it? The activate button. Oh, I turned it off. Hit the activate button. There we go. So it is working. I kind of like it. Not automated. A lot of fun to do. I like doing these kind of things. And when you write these programs and you try it and you're like, oh, look at that, it worked. Or if you try, say, oh, it didn't work, like right there, something's wrong. And I had a couple of the chute numbers wrong. Of course, I had to put, for the ore sorter, I had to put all 17 ores in here, which was a real pain in the neck. This is not the easiest interface. The ore sorting machine is not very easy, but it took some time. That's why there was no video yesterday. I actually thought about doing one yesterday, and I was like, you know what, I'm just not where I want to be. And I just finished all this, and it worked, so I said we'll make a video with that. Otherwise, you see it keeps it at 95. This is, oh, my battery just died. I'm still at full power down here. I had this on, I wonder what happened to it. There it is. I gotta get rid of the small batteries. I think I say that in every episode. I could save power in here by putting an occupancy sensor in here and turning off lights and maybe a couple other things. Probably just lights. But as you see, there's ore in here, the charcoal, and it's at 95%, so it turned the generator off. So that is working, and then here's more coming in, that's working. These are all fixed. Weird bug, I don't know exactly what happened, but they're all fixed now. So, quick look outside. Oop, that's the wrong one. What am I doing? 1, 3. I like to have those up. I keep an eye on them. Let's first check. Yeah. I might have to do some. I'm still at 103, so 38. I lost my list. What is my starting list? I lost it. Nope. I had it on the desk, but I lost it. Probably not put on the board or somewhere. But anyway, I think it was 179 on like day 150 something. So that's 60 days, and I've only used 40 kilomoles. This one I might have to send a mission out pretty soon. It's at 60. But I do want to make one more modification out here. I have to have this thing fire more often on its own. It does, but because I made this sleep, yeah, I'm falling behind. I made this sleep, it doesn't go as often as it should. And I left the coal in there because I don't need it. Where did that copper go? Would have liked to have done the copper. I think that's probably it. Yep, I'm not going to run anymore. That's what I mean. I have to have this. I'll probably do that next. I have to put an icy coat here to keep this moving along. Let's check up here. Power's all good down here. It hangs right about 75. Never changes. Yep, right about 75. It auto adjusts perfectly with those programs that I've been using forever. This is at 240, so there's no risk of freezing. What I wanted to check was this. I haven't checked this in a while. I don't know how much water I got in here. 115 liters, so I got room. It's 790. This can go for quite a while. Still not exactly sure why my Stirling engine exploded the piping. It has to be that this got too much liquid in it, because it always has, a tiny bit of stress. But if that temperature got below 150, I imagine the stress just overwhelmed it. I haven't had to do any trading, so I am where I am, so to speak. But I'm going to continue working back here. Now I have to figure out how to automatically request stuff. I could just do it manually, but I want this to say, hey, you don't have anything. I'd love to know how I can ask this thing what it's got in it, and if it doesn't have something, oh, wrong button. Activate ratio on ratio. What does ratio do for that? Quantity on power, that's not going to help. Request hash. I could request a hash and check. That's how I can do it. I can request a hash. No, because, well, I can request a hash and send it back into it, but that's not going to work. Let's say if I can request the hash, check the export count. If the export count doesn't go up, then I know it doesn't have it, but that would be kind of a roundabout way of doing it. Reference ELD, I don't know what that is, name hash. If anybody knows a way I could write a program to say, do you have 50 coils in this vending machine? Which one of these I would use? The only one I could think of is request hash. It seems to be the only way, but I'm sure I could do vending machine. Does that have any of those special? Probably does. No, it does not. Request hash read. Oh, I could read it. I don't have to write it. I could read it. So I could read the hash. But still, how am I going to know if it has it or not? Reference ELD. What is that? Unique reference identifier for this object. That's not it. Name hash? Nope. Power lock ratio. I don't know what a ratio would be in here. Specific value depending on device. Yeah, see, the only thing I can figure out to be able to use is request hash. Request an item of the provided type from the... So what happens if you request a hash and don't get anything? I have to think about that. I want to be able to do that. So if anybody out there has any advice, let me know. But I think that'll be it for today. So far I'm kind of happy with this. I figured I'd set everything up manually before I went automatically, because then at least I have all the connections where I need them to be. And if I can't figure out this crazy binary crap here, no, let's do electronic. I think it's an electronic printer. That's a kit. I don't want the kit. Here's an electronic printer. Don't want the kit. There it is. If I could figure this stuff out, it would certainly help. Execute recipe, because that I could definitely use. I could say, okay, you don't have something, print it. But you see what I'm thinking. If you have any comments, I'd appreciate any help you could think of on this. Let me know. Navy Old Salt Gamer, please subscribe and like. If you want me to show you or explain these a little better, let me know. I think I went over them. Works. I got it. Oh, that's what I'm going to do next. Set these dials up. That's what I'll do next. And I'll be back tomorrow with where I'm at. Have a good day.